As the Hilton brothers, I'm actually Christopher Moda. This is Paulo.
Hello.
And I've had a big, long career in New York City. And I mention that because some of the work that you're going to see here by the Hilton brothers is called Andy Dandy. And this is a series that I did with Andy Warhol in 1981, based on a collaboration that Marcel Duchamp and Man Ray did in 1921 called Rose la Vie. Well, I was at the factory in New York City for the last two factories. Warhol had 4 factories. The first 2 factories were the very druggy factories with Edie Sedgwick and Candy Darling and all the drag queens. And then Andy got shot by Valerie Solanas, and that changed the whole tone of everything. And then he became very businesslike and like a businessman. And I came in the last 2 factories. So Warhol, I don't mean to digress, but this will lead up to the Hilton brothers. The present day, of course. What happened was we did this collaboration in 1981. It became famous pictures. They're pictures of Andy with wigs on. They're not drag photographs. They're altering someone's image, which gets us to the point about fashion, how fashion alters our image, how we become different people, the way we dress and the way we act, in the way that Cindy Sherman plays with identity, in the way that Gilbert and George play with identity, in the way that the Starn twins play with that. Warhol and I wanted to do a collaboration together to do something that would be interesting and for both of us. Warhol always was looking to collaborate, as I am. I love the idea of collaboration. Collaboration is a conversation that you have with the other person. Paul and I do this. Paul and I are having this collaboration with Pense Moda. These are diptychs that we do together, and this is this collaboration that I was talking about. In my collaborative work, basically a conversation that I have with another artist, in this case Paul.
But I think there are different levels of collaboration. It's interesting. You can have an arrangement with another artist where you do a project and you sign in and you sign out. What happened with Chris and I, we really didn't choose to collaborate. It was sort of given to us, right? I mean, we just obeyed the process, and we've been just like chasing butterflies. We've been just sort of exploring, going around to Vietnam, to China, to Europe.
It all began with the story of Calvin Klein's wife, asking me to do a portrait of her horse called Louvre. And in the Hamptons, there are all these shoo people, and they want to have their horses make portraits. I did the pictures, and because I had never done pictures of horses before, so it began I did my first book about horses. I had met Paul during that period in 2004. He did his first book on flowers, which was sort of an instant hit, and then you're going to see the relationships that we made. This is actually a horse with really stunning blue eyes.
Actually, real blue eyes.
Real blue eyes, yeah.
Unbelievable.
A lot of these horses, the first group of horses, just a few were photographed in the Hamptons in New York. But after shooting the people's horses in the Hamptons, it was no fun because the people in the Hamptons are so snobbish and snooty that, like, their horses are the same way, snobbish and snooty. Are we at that point that we need to have the music up for the first thing?
Yeah, maybe we need to freshen up.
Yeah,
should we freshen up?
Musica. Go ahead.
Agradecer o convite para participar dessa abertura, junto com 2 artistas que desde que eu fui convidado para fazer esse trabalho, eu me propus a fazer uma imersão no trabalho deles. E foi muito gratificante, muito surpreendente. O site deles é muito completo, existem matérias muito interessantes para serem lidas, eu acho que vale a pena. E eu acho que também as pessoas podem agora se motivar a fazer perguntas sobre o processo de produção das imagens, tá? Pode ser interessante. Okay. Suas fotografias transmitem uma intensa sensação de deslocamento, retratando espaços públicos, fragmentos de objetos comuns que pertencem a todos. De certa forma, sua obra parece valer um dos fundamentos da pop art, que é conferir caráter artístico a elementos banais. A pergunta: como o cotidiano influencia o seu trabalho?
And why is Andy Warhol still such a big name in popular culture all over the world? And my answer to that is, Andy was so intrinsically American. A lot of artists borrowed from European art or were influenced by art, but if you look at Warhol's art, he was very much a populist. You see him with the Campbell soup can, Elvis Presley, Marilyn Monroe. And I have very much that same populist view towards photography, as does Paul. We take everyday images and we kind of stare at them and hopefully make them extraordinary, make you, the viewer, look at them. One of the key things I would say to students of architecture or photography or any of the arts is to really look at what you're seeing. So many people look at things and they don't really see anything. That's why we changed 3 times tonight, so you wouldn't be numbed or dulled by the same thing that we wore.
A arte não tem que ser cínica, especialmente durante esses tempos. Nós produzimos obras que se baseiam principalmente na noção tradicional de beleza com um toque de conflito. Como a moda pode colaborar para que as sociedades se tornem mais inteligentes?
The most sort of conflict and anxiety would be Lady Gaga's meat dress at the Grammys. That kind of thing makes people very nervous for a woman to wear a meat dress. So,
Especially Americans.
yeah. So when you or when Lady Gaga, whether you like her music or not, she does create conflict and she creates people. It makes people nervous. Like, is this fashion? You know, in the same way that Cher, when Cher would show up wearing barely anything, or she'd be wearing a Bob Mackie dress.
It would be
There would be crime. I mean, you can see the influence of Lady Gaga's particular sense of fashion, or the lack of fashion, however you look at it, throughout the music business. And I'm sure that young girls, I mean, at least in New York, in America, this Halloween, there were so many kids dressed up as Lady Gaga.
And I'm not concerned about what's sellable, or I don't think we are. We just like to play with things, making ties that are too small and jackets that are too big, or having fun, not taking it seriously, you know, just playing with it.
But there's room for men to do this. It's just that, I mean, look at people like John Gallianos. He does really crazy stuff. But it's not so saleable, you know? I mean, men can do it, but it's not as saleable as what women can do.
Thank you so much for coming.
The people are really fantastic and special, open and playful.
Thank you so much.
It's been more than a pleasure, guys. Thank you very much.